She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's Word of Mom Radio here on the Word of Mom Media Network. I'm your host, Dori DeCarlo, and you know we are here week after week, show after show, breaking those myths that mompreneurs and businesswomen, especially those of us building our businesses from home, that we're just dabbling in between bake sales and getting our nails done. We're not. We are smart, we are savvy, and we are sharing the wisdom of women in business and in life. And I'm looking forward to bringing today's guest into our Author's Alley. Roxie Fiste is a wife, a mom, a storyteller, an artist, and an author. She has always enjoyed leading children in some type of educational setting, whether in a scientific field or creative venture. Her life changed when her daughter was badly injured, and Roxie became a full-time caregiver. Over the past 17 years, she took care of her mother, and then her father. After her parents' passing and her daughter improved, Roxie turned her dream of publishing a book into reality, and she has written and illustrated Allie's Big Adventure. The past year has also led to 2 more books, with several more waiting in the wings. Recently, Roxie completed the illustrations for her next book. It's 3 months in the making, which should be in production shortly. Roxie's passion to create stories with vibrant characters that will inspire kids to explore their own creativity and to have fun. If they learn something along the way, that's another positive. Every story she writes contains a little lesson, so parents will have talking points with their littles. And who knows? Maybe her books may inspire kids to create something new. And with all that being said, I want to welcome you to the Author's Alley on Word of Mom Radio, Roxie.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a real pleasure.
Oh, it's my pleasure. So I would love for you to take us on your journey. I'm also a caregiver, so I totally understand how it kind of takes over everything in your life at some point. So I would love for you to take us on your journey.
Sure. My author career actually took off when I was in high school. Well, at least I tried to get it to take off. I created my Allie character for an art project, and I wrote this picture book that it was mostly illustrations because it was an art project. There was very little wording. And when I got to college, I developed it into a full short story. It was a chapter book. And I submitted it to the wrong publishing company. At that time, it was very hard to get the information because that was many, many years ago before we had the internet. And networking with people wasn't as easy back then. And if you didn't know someone or by word of mouth or had access, it didn't happen. So when I submitted it to the wrong publishing company, they told me maybe in a few years they'd like to use my artwork, but they weren't a children's publisher. So and then life got in the way, and for many years it was just filled with kid and family, and then 16 years ago my daughter was injured badly, and I ended up being full-time caregiver for her. It was quite a shock to see her not be able to walk or talk or whatever for a long time, to think, to read, that sort of thing. So for about 10 years plus, I was helping her. In the beginning, it was helping her dress, helping her shower, taking care of her just like she was a little kid again. And then as the years progressed and she started to improve some, then my parents started needing my help. And that took up another several years. So finally, when my parents had passed and my daughter seemed to be stable, I was able to go back and look at my story and decided, okay, we're going to do this. I'm going to get this thing published. So I took it to this publishing company that was I guess they call them a hybrid, where they work with you and you end up keeping royalties, that sort of thing. And it was there where I was meeting with the head of the children's department. And she said, well, we're not going to do this chapter book. We want you to do this as a picture book. So you're going to have to cut the words down and you're going to have to do all these paintings to go with it. So that was a bit of a shock. So several months later, it was ready. I got it into production. And so for this past year, I've been learning all about advertising and, media presentations and that sort of thing. So it's been a real journey.
It's always interesting to me because taking what you have in your head and being able to put it to paper and then do the illustrations yourself. And they're so cute. They really
Thank
are.
you.
They're really cute. I would love to know where you got the inspiration for Allie.
When I was 16, it was an advanced design class because I was majoring in art at the time. And they wanted me to come up with some character for this picture book. I had to do a film strip and then a poster of this character. And so I was racking my brain. How can I come up with something that's different from what I was seeing all around the room? Because there were 20 some of us in the class. And every time I'd come up with something, one of my friends would go, nah, that's not fun. So finally I came up with this little egg-shaped critter with 2 legs. And he didn't even have clothes in the original. No clothes whatsoever. He was just this little character that bounced. And that's what I wanted him to do, was to bounce, because bouncing would get him into trouble. So that's where that started. For the Micah character, which is the boy who finds him, the human character, was inspired by my little brother's imagination. He had an imaginary friend named Boy. When I put this together, I thought, I'll use Boy. Boy will be the one who's in the book. It was just a little picture book, and I had to design the cover and all the insides and put it together like a book. So it was coming along pretty well. So I used his character, his imagination, to create this character. And then for the talking pony Scout, I had a dream. I was listening to a lot of music at the time before bed, teenagers, and Horse with No Name was one of those musical renditions, and it stuck in my head for some reason. I'm a big horse lover anyway. And I dreamed about this journey that this horse went on with this puffball. I went ahead and put that in the book as well. So that's where those came from.
I think it's a very fun story, and I can see kids really enjoying it. And you're such a wonderful illustrator.
Well, thank you. The first book, I was into my colored pencil phase. We moved and I didn't have access to my acrylics. So when I was doing the illustrations, I did them all in colored pencil. So for the next book, I went ahead and got a hold of my acrylics. And so it's going to be twice as vibrant for that one. But yeah, it's been a journey with that too.
For you, in becoming an author, has it kind of shifted how you look at yourself and your family?
Not really. I still have to take care of things. You know how that goes. You have your life, and then you have your author life. And I do like the author life because you can get lost. I can for days into either illustrations or writing. So the family gets held on hold and they're eating a lot of leftovers during that time period. But then I have to come back and say, okay, things have got to be, I have to get back in gear for cleaning the house and that sort of thing, so it's part of life.
What made you decide to add the little lessons so parents would have little talking points?
Actually, that was just a natural part of the storytelling. I just developed and fleshed out the story and then had to cut it way down. But I still realized, okay, this little puffball, whatever he's going through, he's going to be learning something. And that's something that kids will have to learn along the way, and parents as well. There are always those kids who do not want to listen, or they want to listen, they try really hard, but then they just can't, and that's how I felt about Allie. But then his mischievous side gets in the way, or the fact that he can't control his bounce yet. he wants to try without any help. That's the thing, and there's always those kids who want to do something either in the kitchen or somewhere in their bedroom doing something, that mom and dad said, you need to do that with us. And they don't want to listen. Or they just say, well, I can do it by myself.
On that note, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to say thank you to our sponsors. We'll be right back on Word of Mom Radio. She is brave. She is bold. She is you. And we want to tell your story. Are you ready to share your journey with us on Word of Mom Radio? Go to wordofmomradio.com and register as a guest. We want to tell your story because when you win, we all win.
In 2017, Unsilenced Voices was formed to help survivors of domestic abuse and gender-based violence worldwide. The organization currently serves Sierra Leone, Rwanda, Ghana, and the USA. In 2022, Unsilenced Voices gifted over $33,000 to survivors in the USA. And in Sierra Leone, there are over 26 young girls who have been rescued from sex trafficking and domestic abuse and now going through vocational training school in order to better their lives. We need your help. Donations are critical in order for us to continue our work. We also need volunteers to help with research and development. Please visit unsilencedvoices.org for more information.
And we are back here talking about Allie's big adventure with Roxie Fiste. I love that he has to learn how to bounce. It's so fun. All the different things. It's akin to a child learning to walk.
Exactly. And he's not real great at controlling his bounce, and that's the thing. He likes to bounce, but he can't control it, and that's what gets him in trouble.
I think not being able to control our bounce gets us all in trouble.
Yes, it does. At least that's the way I feel.
For you, on a personal note, how has it been going from caregiver to published author?
I think it's been exciting. I mean, I was so excited the first day that it was released, and it was #1 in 3 categories on Amazon. And I was really surprised that it was doing so well. It hit #1 3 times over 2024, which was a surprise too there. And it was in the category of children's animal action and adventure. It was #1 in that category. And then there was another category, which I'm not sure how it got there, but I think it was children's Christian social values, something like that. It was just a very different, I didn't even know that existed. And I thought, okay, that's interesting. So it was a surprise. There's always a letdown after it happens too. They even kind of warned me about that. They said, there's going to be this euphoric high when you get this published, and if it does well. And then comes you drop. Your emotions are sky high, and then you have to come back down to earth and go, okay, next book.
What have you learned from sending your book out to the public?
That you just can't always expect everybody to understand what you're trying to put out there. You can't control how people react. Most of it has been really good. I have a lot of good positive reviews on the book. And then there were a couple that really surprised me. This one person who was an analyst said, I don't even know why I read the book. And I'm thinking, well, why did you? It's a children's book. And she gave it a very low rating. And I'm thinking, okay, but you can't always, expect everybody to like everything you put out there. And it's a risk when you put yourself out there. You just do it in the hopes that there are parents and grandparents who will grab the book and get excited with the kid and spark that child's imagination, instead of getting held up and, oh, well, this isn't right and that's not right. It's a big step, much like setting up what you're doing. The first time you did it, I'm sure it was pretty scary to put yourself out there like that.
I started this with 2 other women on a different program called the 3 Wise Girls. Long ago, before Facebook, Twitter, I was in beta with Twitter, and there was a networking group called the Fast Pitch Networking. And I met this woman, Debbie, and then Twitter started and we moved over there and we met this woman, Linda, and we started talking and we thought we were funny. and we decided to, why not do a podcast? Podcasting was just starting. And we thought it would be fun. And I did a 2-part segment on mompreneurs, women like me building their business from home and raising a family. And after the second episode, Linda came to me and said, you found a niche and I think you should go for it. So I started doing both and then decided to leave the Three Wise Girls and just pursue Word of Mom. Did it for a few years, took some time off. And then in March of 2012, came back full steam. So we're going into our 13th year of sharing all of these amazing women. And it's so funny because one of the first things people will ask me is, where do you find guests? And I said, I don't know. I opened my email, and because we've been doing this for so long, and it's something that I love. And I love our authors alley because I'm an avid reader. So I really want to read everybody's books, and which many people find amazing. I'm shocked to find out how many people interview people without reading their books.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, well, that would be kind of scary.
It shocks me to no end. Well, they're good at what they do.
Oh, okay.
They're good at what they do, and they fake it well. Yeah. But it was funny. I was listening to a podcast once about dream analysis, and afterwards, the host actually said, wow, this is so fascinating. I'm going to have to go back and read your book. And yeah, exactly. I did the same thing you did. I went, oh my gosh, why would you say that on the air?
Exactly. Oh my goodness.
I know. It was just, wow. And I'm thinking, okay, you faked that really well. So why would you admit to that? And if I were an author, I would just feel incredibly insulted.
Yes, a little bit.
For me, I want to be authentic in sharing what you do. And I have grandkids. So books like this that are fun, illustrated. I could see my granddaughter wanting to draw what you drew because she loves to draw. They're just the little puffball. It's just such a cute little puffball.
That's the reaction I was going for, because you want the parents and the grandparents, because they're the ones who buy for the kids. They're not buying because they don't have a job making money. And so they're relying on the parents and grandparents to find these books and really get into it. And that way, when they do, hopefully they spend time with the kids and helping those kids develop their creativity. Just sitting with them at the same table. I can remember my mom sitting at the table while I was always drawing, constantly drawing. And I had a wild imagination, and it sort of has been tamped down over the years, but I've always hung on to it. And being able to sit with my parents and just draw, that meant a lot to me. And I know for a kid to spark that creativity, having a parent or a grandparent just being there while they're playing with these, whether it's crayons, whatever, and develop their own characters, because kids are the ones who are going to take over after we're gone. They're the ones who we're going to have to rely on when we're too old to do anything about it. And you wanting them to spark that creativity so that they can create what needs to be done and do it well.
And have fun doing it.
Oh, yes.
I love it because when they're young, my granddaughter and I were painting. She was painting a unicorn. She was painting all these different things. And the colors that they use and stuff. My grandson was painting a paper mache mask of 2 angels. And he used his favorite colors, blues and purples and all of these things, because when they're little, they're not concerned that, it's supposed to be flesh colored or things like that. They're just using their imaginations to create. And we had painted this one thing, and then he made something in school. And so when I brought it to him after it dried, and I said to him, look, it's almost like you made a companion to it, because it was amazing how those same colors, those are just the ones that he loves right now. And my granddaughter, who's very dexterous when it comes to that kind of stuff, her mommy, my son and his wife lived directly catty corner to the community center, and they offered free art classes for kids. She was 18 months old when she put my granddaughter in.
Oh my goodness.
When I tell you that little girl was painting, holding it, not like a grip like a child would do. By the time she was 2, she was coloring in the lines and just so fascinated by anything that she can create. And it's so fun as you watch them go with the head and then the arms and legs that come out of the head.
Right.
Because the body's not there yet. This is the whole part of it. And watching those developmental steps through their art. So that's why I am drawn to your book. I can't wait till your next ones come out, because I really do feel that those characters are going to spark kids to want to draw them.
I hope so. I really do. And that's why Allie is so much attractive to kids, because he's this little squashy body.
It is.
And he's a bright color. And kids, when they use their imagination, it doesn't matter what colors. And in the next book, in the back of the book, I have a page that says create your own character, so that they can go in and create their own character that might go in their book. And I was thinking of having a contest, and it might have to go for like 6 months to a year before I get the right critter that would go into another book, so that the kids would create. So that's something I was thinking with, to get that imagination going as well. So we'll see. This book's been in production since October, and there's been all kinds of complications with the color and everything, trying to get that right from what my original artwork looks like. But I think they've gotten it under control. So maybe soon, this new book will be out and we'll be able to start this. I don't know. But I think getting those children out there, whether they've had any experience or not, get those crayons out, get whatever out, and just go for it. Create something.
Without a doubt. So as we're wrapping up, Roxie, what would you like to leave our listeners with, and how may they reach out to you?
Well, they can reach me through my website. It's roxiefiste.com. And it's basically all about my characters and about me. And there is a way to sign in and sign up for a newsletter, or to contact me directly if they have any questions. And I always look forward to something like that. I look, or if a kid has a question, the parent submits the question to me, and I'll get back to them. I had one little girl who was very, very concerned about the puffball. And she was so glad he got home. And she was letting me know, yes, we're glad he got home. So kids need a definite ending, and they do like to see those happy endings. So
yes, they do.
Yes. So go ahead, send me an email. I'm more than happy to talk to the parents or the children. My big thing is I want kids to just have fun, to enjoy growing up and learning to be creative on their own. Just continue to spark that creativity in your kids.
Absolutely. Roxie, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come and share Allie's big adventure with us here on Word of Mom Radio. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun.
It's been my pleasure. And to all of you tuning in, thank you so much for being here. We're going to close out our show with our fabulous theme song from Smith Sisters and the Sunday Drivers. So till next time, this is Dori DeCarlo saying go out and create a marvelous you. Bye for now.
She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. Sure of herself, yeah, she takes care of biz. Powerful and strong, yeah, she knows who she is. Has integrity, woman strong and true. You know her by name, see this woman is you. She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. to behave. Reaching for dreams, doesn't matter the age. Believes in herself, unleashed from her cage. She is sure, she is sure. She is strong, she is strong. She is true, she is true. She is brave, she is brave. She is bold, she is bold. She is you, she is you, she is you, she is you. She is sure, she is sure. She is strong, she is strong. She is true, she is true. She is brave, she is brave. She is bold, she is bold. She is you.